Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We are back for some commentary. And when I get across 25th Avenue here, I'll tell you where we're going. All right, so we are going to walk the entire length of 84th Street. It's going to be a long walk. This, where we're starting is Stillwell Avenue and 25th Avenue, and we're going to run this all the way up to Colonial Road. And along the way, we'll see all the, many different homes along the stretch. But for those people that like long walks, this is going to clock in at around 3¼ miles, so it's going to be a walk. Now, there is one thing. There is a jackhammer on the next block. So, as I get close to it, we're going to cut the video. So, you're not going to miss much. I just don't want that in my... I don't want that in my video. So, as we get close, I'm going to cut. And then we'll start... We'll start on after we've passed 23rd Avenue. Or I think we're on, this is 24th Avenue, so. I was hoping that as we got close to the jackhammer, it might stop. But it doesn't look like that. All right, so this is where we're going to cut, and we'll join you all back on the other side of 24th Avenue. All right, we are back. You didn't miss much. And it's funny, just as I was passing, the jackhammer stopped. So, okay, so now since we got a moment here to talk about where we're going to be walking. Obviously, I said we're going to be walking up 84th Street. One second. There we go. All right. Clear of some people. So next week is Thanksgiving. Already next week. Crazy, right? Funny how fast the year went by. There goes the jackhammer. But anyway, we're walking up we'll eventually be passing through my neighborhood, Dyker Heights, but 84th Street is I guess you could say, the epicenter of the Dyker Heights Christmas lights. So we're going to be going through there once we get, into the area over there. We'll get by 14th Avenue and 13th Avenue. I'm sure we'll see some homes up there decorating. A lot of the homes, there's a lot of decorations that they got to put up, a lot of lights, a lot of electrical work. So some of the houses do start early up there. So we may run into that and see that. Passing by St. Mary's Catholic School here on 23rd Avenue and 84th. Time is around 9:30. And as far as the weather is nice. I mean, there's no wind, so that's always good at this time of year. When you get a lot of wind this time of year, it could be cold, but I'm thinking we might flip over to the other side on the next block because there's a lot of sun over there. The temperature is around 47 Fahrenheit. For those of you that do Celsius, if I do some quick math in my head, 1 second. I'd say it's around 8 Celsius. I don't know if I'm right, but 47 Fahrenheit, 8 Celsius. We used to do a lot of Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion when I was in the Navy, because I think the United States is the only country that does Fahrenheit. So everywhere else it was Celsius. So once again, we're on a stretch of road that is residential. We may say the occasional stores when we cross some of the avenues that are in commercial zones. But for the most part, this will be a neighborhood residential walk. A lot of apartment buildings down this way. But as we get further along the route, the houses will, well, the buildings will shrink. I say when we get past, I'm just thinking, I'm going visually in my mind here. When we get past like New Utrecht Avenue, Bay Parkway. Now we're gonna cross over because it's sunny on that side, so. Still got some really old homes along the route, like that one across the street. In case you're wondering what neighborhood we're in, currently we are in Bensonhurst. We started briefly in Gravesend. Gravesend section being over by Stillwell Avenue, 25th, 24th, and 23rd Avenue. So now we are in the Bensonhurst section. We will pass through the Dyker Heights section and end in the Bay Ridge section. So we're actually going to be walking through 4 neighborhoods here. 4 locales. So you'll still see a lot of these older style homes mixed in with the newer condos that they build when they tear down the nice homes. They tear down these nice homes and then they build these, sorry, but they're ugly condo units. Coming up on 21st Avenue. Guess he didn't want me to pass. Looks like there's a lot of scaffolding on this block. You got right next to the school here. It's an elementary school. And you got another scaffolding coming up. Could be pretty noisy down here on this area, south of New Utrecht Avenue. Got a lot of commercial areas over here. You know, it's funny, I picked this side to get into the sun, and now we're still under shade, under these scaffolding. I do not like scaffolding. A lot of noise to start off the walk, huh? I think when we did the 18th Avenue, the Ditmas Avenue, the Flatbush Avenue, and Colonial Road, that was a noisy walk. And now, look, I'm coming up the block and there's a guy with a leaf blower. It's like it just never ending for me, man. So let's see, we've had jackhammer, we have a leaf blower, we had some stone cutting. We had a street cleaner go by in front of us. It will get quiet though, don't worry. We will eventually get into a nice quiet walking route. Look at this house. we will have our fair share of very nice houses once we get up to 13th and 12th Avenue. And like I said earlier, we have Thanksgiving coming next week. As I record this, it's next week. We'll be moving right into holiday season pretty quickly. Now, 84th Street is, there are some interesting things about 84th Street. If you remember, we did the Bay 16 walk. We talked about it briefly, but there is a section of 84th Street that becomes a double-sided road, like an avenue. And many, many years ago, before all the grid was laid down that we are used to today, Kings Highway didn't just stop at Bay Parkway and like 78th Street. It kept going. Bay Parkway, it snaked through Brooklyn all the way till it connected with Fort Hamilton. Back then it was the village of Fort Hamilton. That's what it was known as. But we're gonna, so the grid doesn't line up here. So we're about to hit 18th Avenue, and you'll notice that we'll have to make a quick right and then a quick left. Another interesting thing we have here is we have the old New Utrecht Reformed Church that's located here on 18th Avenue. And we're about to see that in a second. But the thing about this church, this is part of it, but this is not. You'll see in a second. The church was located somewhere else, and we'll see that later on where, but this church that you're looking at here, the church out there, was originally up on 16th Avenue and 84th, where the graveyard is. There's a graveyard, we'll be passing by the graveyard. It was taken down stone by stone and moved over here. We are on 18th Avenue, and this is where 84th Street becomes two-way for a while. Once we get across. Got the Freedom Pole. Story has it that when we won our independence, the British had to march past that pole with the American flag flying over it, the old American flag. The British had to march in defeat out of New York past that pole. All right, so now we're on 84th Street between 18th Avenue and New Utrecht, and as you can see, this is a two-way road. It's an odd setup for sure. I mean, you come down here and it's like all of a sudden 2A, and then we get up to 16th Avenue, it'll go back to a one-way street. And I'm going to cross back over to that side so we can get back into the sun. This looks familiar. We were just here a couple of walks ago. You know, this hospital right here, this hospital care, a lot of the local people know what I'm talking about. When we had the COVID lockdowns, this was one of the hospitals where they had a high rate of people dying. Tearing down a lot of homes. There was a lot of homes over here. It was like, I think it was like 3 buildings over here. Or 2 buildings. '84th and 17th. Anybody old enough to remember, this used to be the home of a CB stop. So come here and get your radio fixed or modified. Everybody remembers Millie. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, back in the 80s and 90s, CB radio used to be a big deal, man. I was a big CB radio user before there was internet. But everybody used to go hang out over there. Now, they changed this recently into diagonal parking so that they could get more spots. When I say recent, I mean not like last week, like in the last 3 years, I believe. But it wasn't always like this, the parking. We're crossing over here. If you remember the church, which is down there that we passed, this is where it originally was located, right here. And now this church is in its place. And we're walking by the cemetery, old cemetery.
A lot of historic things. Everyone wet their feet. That's fine.
Now this cemetery is old. Some of the tombstones in here date back to the 1600s. And this is, I'll put this in the view so you guys can read this and pause it if you want, but as you can see here, this is pretty much the map of what the old roads used to be. If you look there, there's a map of Brooklyn and how the old road network used to be. And they talk about the church that was taken down and moved down to 18th Avenue. We are on 16th Avenue and we are now back to one way. And now the houses will get nicer as we get up these next few intersections. Got all these bungalow style row homes all attached. Nice looking tree. This house has everything is pink over here. I'll show you in a second. Got the pink fire hydrant. A lot of pink. Pink planters, although this fence is no longer pink. It used to be, it's now brown. I guess it was just too much pink. So this will be the last block in the neighborhood of Bensonhurst, and we will be jumping into Dyker Heights. I do not live too far from this block. So I'm currently walking through my neighborhood now. I have to recenter my camera. My camera is stuck. There we go. Sometimes the camera will get stuck. It's not supposed to do that, but sometimes it does. Nice and quiet in this area. It looks like we have been walking for about 32 minutes. We're now officially in Dyker Heights, 14th Avenue. Dyker Beach Park is a couple blocks over on 86th Street. This building coming up right here, this used to be the old Norwegian orphanage. Get a better look from here. I happen to be half Norwegian. I'm half Italian, half Norwegian. When I was a kid, we used to walk down this block on the way home from Dyker Heights Junior High School. I had a big engraved sign that said Norwegian, I think it said Norwegian Orphanage. Starting to get into the nice homes of Dyker Heights. A lot of these homes will be decorated. This house here, they put a big Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus on that little balcony there during Christmas. Now we are going uphill. This is a high point in Brooklyn for the next few blocks. One of the highest in Brooklyn. That's the post office. That's my local post office for my zip code. We are passing 13th Avenue. So now we are getting into the nitty-gritty of Dyker Heights. Now, most people are used to seeing these houses with the lights on. For 11 months of the year, nobody comes down here. And then, starting next week, it is a madhouse. So here's one of the houses. You can see they're starting to decorate. A couple of figurines there. Now, people have asked in the past, how is it, how do the locals feel? I do live in the neighborhood. So how is it, how do people feel when all these people come? And, it gets, you got to work around it, I guess. It wasn't always like this down here. I'll tell you that much. The area really exploded with Christmas decorations and lights around 2005. But for many years before that, here's a house here. They're already ready to go. For many years before that, there were, there weren't many houses that did it, but there were ones that stood out. We're going to be passing, obviously, Lucy's house in the next block. That's the house that everybody goes to. There's Santa Claus over there. When I was a teenager back in the 90s down here, you had houses that decorated, but not to the degree that you see today. I want to get across the street into the sunlight. Like I said, we are going uphill, and it's a pretty, it's not San Francisco steep, but it's a steep hill. But yeah, getting back to when it gets crowded over here, it's just something you got to deal with, Now, years ago, when the tour buses started coming, that's when it became a real problem. Tour buses started showing up around 2012. 1 or 2 showed up, and then 3 or 4 showed up, and then I remember, I think it was around 2013, 2014, it got real crazy. And they had tour buses everywhere. Well, eventually what happened was they had to, they basically designate where the tour buses were allowed to go and not allowed to go. So the tour buses nowadays, what they do is they park down, or they stand over by 86th Street, and they have the people walk over. There you go, Lucy's house is ready to go. You're probably like, why am I not walking across the street? I'll tell you why, because I don't want to burn everybody out. We're going to be coming back here when these things are lit up. So that's when you'll get to see it. Kind of give you an idea of how high up this hill is. We're just reaching the top of the hill now. Some of the nice houses over here. In case anybody's lost track, we just crossed 11th Avenue. See, some more houses are ready to go for Christmas. I'm trying not to make this a Christmas walk, so I know some people are like, show us the houses, but you know, which I am, because they're beautiful houses without the Christmas decorations, but we'll have plenty of time, don't worry, to look at Christmas lights in the next few weeks, because I will be going everywhere, not just here in my neighborhood, but to other neighborhoods. You know, last year I actually found some really cool houses in Bay Ridge. Now the lights for these houses are not on, so don't come down here thinking you're gonna, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's not ready yet. A lot of these houses, so some of these houses are decorated by Christmas decoration companies, which is why some of them are decorated very early, because there's many houses that those companies have to decorate, but there's a lot of electricity that has to be taken care of. So that's why they decorate early. It's not, when you come down here and you see these houses decorated, it's not like, hey, I wanted to be the first to decorate. Like Lucy's house that we saw earlier, you know, that takes a while to do, you know? And you wanna make sure that it's working before, you know, it's due to be working, right? You don't want to just wait till the last minute. This house is one of the houses that'll be decorated. Still got a skeleton here, and a skeleton here. And we still got Halloween decorations up. But we also have Christmas decorations going up right now. Here you go. This is not finished yet. That's a big window right there. We are crossing 7th Avenue. So that big crane, they're building that school right on the corner of 7th Avenue and 86th Street. That crane, I can see that crane from my house. Last couple of nights, they just started using it to lift a lot of the heavy stuff up there. They're gonna start lifting things like, you know, I guess HVAC units and elevators maybe, and this is a nice house. Like I was saying, I was looking out my window the last couple of nights. When you look out my window, you could see the ocean, the Verrazano Bridge. You could see the park. I'm right across from the park, Dyker Beach Park. And I noticed there was this big red light, which is typically a warning, aircraft warning light for high points or high equipment. And I knew it had to be the school being built because it's the tallest thing right now in the neighborhood being constructed. 84th Street, this is called Dyker Place, and this is the end of Dyker Heights. So we will now cross into Bay Ridge. Interstate 278. Get a better view for you guys. Now, 84th Street is one of those streets that has a straight run across the borough down in the south part of Brooklyn. Not every street has an overpass. 84th Street's one of them. Bay Ridge Parkway. There's one over here by like 78th Street, 79th Street. We're crossing Fort Hamilton Parkway. A lot of the homes here will be your row type homes. Apartment buildings should start showing up again. But then right before we end the walk on Colonial Road, we'll get back to some nice houses once again. Now, 84th Street ends right into Fort Hamilton High School. There's a park just south of the school. And that's where we're going to be ending the walk. And we still got a little bit more to go here. Notice we're at 52 minutes. And we said this was going to be a long walk. This counts as my long walk for the day. Got some step-up homes here. Mario Brothers. Fifth Avenue. Got a little warmer since the start of the walk, and we started the walking around 47 degrees. It's a little bit of a breeze, nothing too much. He's got to get somewhere fast. A lot of construction going on today along this road. Some small home improvements going on. Made our way to 4th Avenue. We were just here a couple of weeks ago. We did the New York City Marathon. But as you'll see, it's back to its normal boring, traffic-ridden style. There's nothing nothing too extravagant about 4th Avenue unless the marathon is running. crossing against the light. There is a car coming, but I got distance. This is a big home, big long home. We are about to hit the 1 hour mark on this walk and we're almost finished. I would say we got about 3 more blocks to go. We have 3rd Avenue. You got Ridge. And we should end at Colonial Road. Getting to the last days. You know, those last days where we still have, you know, leaves falling off the trees. The weather is, you know, the weather is undecided on what it wants to do. Like today it's supposed to be in the 50s and then we're supposed to go into the 60s. So it's supposed to be a nice week. We are supposed to get some rain in this area. The whole Northeast is supposed to get a brush with a storm. Nobody knows exactly how much rain we're going to get yet at this point. It's Wednesday, but they're saying some of the states up here, including us, will probably pick up some rain. I think they say it's going to be a nor'easter too, so we'll see. Cafe. We are crossing 3rd Avenue. And now we're going to see some nice homes for the next couple of blocks for the remainder of this walk. And now, if you remember, when we were in Dyker Heights, we walked up that hill and we've been level since, but now we're going to start coming downhill. This is a high point in Brooklyn. From Dyker Heights to this part of Bay Ridge it's pretty high. So I'm going to start seeing downhill now. Now, what I'm going to do is walk in the bike lane to show off some of these houses because you'll get better views. There's some nice homes on this block. These are just beautiful houses over here. Really big houses too. Now, if you look down center of the camera, you'll see this is about to go downhill, and we line up perfectly with the tower at Fort Hamilton High School. 84th Street runs center of the school. It's another nice home. Now there's some nice homes on my left side, but the problem is the sun is in that direction and it's shade, so you're not going to see them even if I show them. But you're not missing, I mean, what you're seeing right now on this side is what you would miss on the other side. I mean, the homes on both sides are amazing. So. Now I know they have there's one house in particular has a big Christmas tree that they decorate down here. So we'll see if that house has got the Christmas decorations on the tree. We're now coming downhill, and we're coming down to the last block of the walk where 84th Street ends. And this Christmas tree, I can see it. It looks like they decorated it. So this is a pretty, I mean, the shape of this tree, they've made sure that the tree looks like a Christmas tree. I mean, they've really tailored it very well. You'll see. We'll get back on the sidewalk. Crossing Ridge Boulevard. And here is the Christmas tree. Isn't that cool? That is a perfect shaped Christmas tree. I'll make sure I get the whole tree in there. Maybe I'll use this as my thumbnail. A lot of nice houses on this block. All these blocks up here, in between Narrows and Ridge and Colonial Road, I mean, the houses are amazing. And this is also where I found some really nice Christmas decorated homes last year. Last year we haven't done really a Christmas walk. I haven't done one in a couple of years with the camera. If you go back to 2019, you'll see some of the houses there where I do with the GoPro. That was before I was doing the channel. That was when I was just doing the YouTube account with my name. Okay, so we are done here. We are just under an hour and 10 minutes. We are ending the walk on 84th and Colonial Road here at the park, just south of Fort Hamilton High School. What we'll do is we will end it right on the corner here. I want to thank everybody for tagging along. This was a long walk. It's over 3 miles, and we didn't walk it that fast, so we could have walked here faster. But if you think about it, it's around 3 miles per hour. So here we are. 84th Street is ended. Thank everybody for tagging along, and we will catch everyone on the next one. And stay tuned. In the next few weeks, we'll be doing a lot of Christmas walks and looking at all the Christmas houses. So anyway, thanks for tagging along, and I'll catch everyone on the next one.